taking away Zillion, and we'll finish off with Alistair. I think that's the most common 3 bans that we're seeing throughout these World Championship as a group.
Yeah, and Hai's actually played a different champion in every single game, but honestly, by far and away, his most successful game, I feel like, was on Syndra. There's still a lot of things up right now. I would love it if Cloud9 picked Syndra here.
As the first choice, will they dare do that? We know Cloud9 is a team who are very snappy when it comes to picks and bans, and actually, it won't be Syndra that's locked in. It's going to be a first pick Zed for Hai.
So that's sort of a takeaway from Goong, but Goong also does play Ahri too, which is, as we've seen, a skill matchup with Zed and Peke. When he ran that matchup, he got the advantage in it. Interesting, again, they are focusing here Gorilla. They snatch up that Nami as soon as they can. We don't get to see the Janna again.
No, I mean, it didn't exactly go very well when he played it against Alliance. That was one of the things that got perfect gamed on. I feel like he just really wanted to play it, even though it didn't fit their overall team composition. I do think Jan is actually pretty good against Zed, but Nami can do the job as well. That's just a good amount of CC from their first 2 picks. Go.
And again, the focus on Watch, this guy that a lot of people don't know from Cloud9. They banned out the Lee Sin, so Shield immediately, first round, they grab him a suitable jungler here, Elise once again. They have some good pick potential, some of that stacking CC that we've seen from these very successful skill shot combos between jungler and support so far.
Cloud9 picking away Corki is so smart at this point because they can't afford to just wait till the late game against White Shield. And White Shield has typically won when they go with the mid-game champion. Zephyr was actually unkilled on Corki in 3 games. Sneaky is a very good Corki, and based on the 80 carries on the board, it basically forces him to go into Lucian if they don't want to get mid-game.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk coming into these group stage games about the solo laners of Shield, and rightfully so. Save is a very strong carry, but in the game versus Cloud9, it was the bottom lane where they got so much pressure. We do see the Ahri coming through.
And along with Kayle, which honestly, top lane Kales, have they impressed us so far this tournament? I go ahead and just guess that you're going to say no.
I'll say inconsistently unimpressive. Because there's been slight moments of impressiveness, especially when we saw it comboed with Twitch well. Actually, that was in one of the Samsung Blue games.
Yeah.
And theoretically, Najin White Shield could still go with that type of composition.
Yeah, and the thing about running with Kayle, almost all Kayle compositions are very delicate compositions, so you have to have that communication with your team. Your team definitely has to be in sync to make use of it. This ultimate is all about blocking damage, not putting it as an emergency ultimate on somebody who's already low. It's all about the right timing to block big spells.
Well, we'll see if they can combo that up for Cloud9 here. We are going to be seeing Janna for Lemon Nation, and Balls going to get his hands on Rumble. Already seen it come out for him once, and we know how good of a Rumble player Balls is. Yeah,
this is definitely going to give him much more of a chance to shine through than last time when he was on Lulu. It also gives him that massive mid-game spike, the Corki Trinity Force champion plus the Rumble. We've said it so many times, but even Zed does funnel into that too, even with just a couple items.
So much discussion about the draft. Cloud9 got most of their favorite champions across the board. If you had to say which champion is X player best on, Cloud9 has at least 3, arguably 5. Right? Because Balls best on Rumble, Hai best on Zed, Lemon best on Janna, Sneaky and Meteos, there's a few champions up near the top.
Yeah, and I have to say, they're going to have to worry about all these picks from Shield, because even though this comp from Shield is delicate, if they do perform with that timing and with that precision, it's been so deadly. We've seen it so many times.
And the last thing is there's such a small amount of lockdown for the Twitch. If he opens up in the right spot with a Kayle ult on, there's not much Cloud9 can do to stop it.
As you mentioned, we have seen glimmers of that combo actually working out for some teams. Of course, we should go over the main storyline of this game because there are a couple of different outcomes. Of course, if Cloud9 are able to win, they secure their spot in the quarterfinals and knock Alliance out. Means that they'll actually play White Shield once again to decide who's first and second seed. However, if they lose to White Shield, Alliance still have a chance and they'll play Cloud9 in a tiebreaker at the end for that second spot. But guys, while the players prepare to face off, we want to hear what you think about this game. Tweet hashtag C9win or NWS NWS win to cast your vote, and we'll see throughout the game who you're picking as favorites. Talking is hard, apparently. Luckily for me, we're going to get into an awesome game, though. It is, of course, Cloud9 versus Najin White Shield. How is this one all going to go down? Big one for Cloud9. They could make their lives a lot easier by just winning this match straight up.
All right, let's see if Cloud9 can get some deep lane wards down to see if there's going to be any sort of lane swaps here with Twitch. Now, Nami does have a strong laning phase, so even though Twitch is a bit weak, Nami can help him out with that. Both AD carries do head down bottom to try and claim control of these side lane bushes that have been so important in putting down those deep lane wards. Sneaky gets his down, and they see Zephyr.
I'm really wondering if Najin Shield is going to 2v2 this Corki Janna lane. Corki Janna isn't the craziest in Fear, and Nami as a support is a strong laner, but as far as AD carries go, Twitch generally wants to lane swap. You also add to that, though, the Rumble versus Kayle matchup. We've seen everyone swapping the Rumble to try and keep them out of the game. If Balls has allowed solo lane experience, maybe that quick level 6 could force some early dragon fights. Likewise, if Save doesn't get shut down, maybe a Kayle could actually reach late game and become a massive force.
So a quiet start, lots of wards going down in very similar positions across the entire map in all those areas that you'd exactly wait them to be put down into, including that bottom brush there where Lemon Nation put in that ward. Of course, we are going to be seeing Goong against Hai in this mid lane. Zed versus Ahri. We talked about that matchup quite a few times already, that you've got to be on form from either side to win it.
Yeah, last time we saw, bottom lane might actually meet up here. The ward expired for Cloud9 because Sneaky put it down so quickly. Gorilla's in a tentative position here, and he's already shown.
Whoa! This could be bad news for him. May have to burn something. No, plays it very calmly. Jeez. Loses almost half of his health, though, right from the very get-go.
So since they hadn't scouted, Gorilla was trying to get lane position so he could freeze the minions for a potential farm with Zephyr. It ends up actually taking a fair bit of harass because there was no swap from Cloud9, something Najin White Shield was probably predicting there.
Gorilla and Lemon Nation continue to battle it out. Sneaky positioned quite far up here. Zephyr actually going to trade with him, and to be honest, Sneaky's the one that's come out with less HP after that. Lemon Nation, of course, continues to fight against Gorilla throughout those brushes. A very, very interesting start from both sides.
I gotta point out that the junglers started on opposite buffs here, opposite sides of the map. So since there's so much trading down here, Meteos would actually end up on this side of the map after his double buffs. But because Sneaky and Lemon Nation got the lane to push in their favor, that gank is not really a tenable position for them. I mean, they can't really go for that early tower dive. So it's probably going to be a rotation back up to the top side where Kayle is shoving in.
And it's probably just going to be a farm jungle for Meteos. That's typically how he ends up playing Kha'Zix. In the games where he's tried too hard to set up specific ganks, I remember a couple games where he spent far too much time top lane. He's fallen really far behind. He's all about efficiency, and it would make sense if he just continues to farm for now.
Yeah, the thing about Kha'Zix versus Elise, if you go face checking with Kha'Zix, then you're going to be in trouble because Elise definitely has that advantage early. And walking into a cocoon means you are going to give up your double buffs early. So Meteos, he doesn't even take that small risk.
What an early back by Sneaky and Lemon Nation.
Yeah, leaving that lane straight away. It's going to give Sneaky that second Doran's Blade and more pots, which might become crucial. Obviously, Nami, we saw earlier on, was able to get those heals in, and Zephyr is at full HP, despite those trades that they had going on. So, a few pots just to help Sneaky out, and that second Doran's Blade to maybe give him a bit of an edge.
So much trading going on down there in the bottom lane, yeah. I'm wondering if Zephyr and Gorilla are going to try and shove this hard and back as well to try and answer that combat effectiveness in lane.
The double Dorans is definitely, I think, a call for a bit of extra sustain. Sneaky was taking a little bit of extra damage. Didn't want to invest all the way into Vamp Scepter, but instead will get the small amount of lifesteal from the Doran's Blade. Plus the lane was in a spot where he didn't lose too much CS. Really great NATO.
Yep, Gorilla gave it away there. I'm not quite sure if Lemon even saw Zephyr go into stealth, but they did stop the back, so there won't be the evening up of items here for Zephyr and Gorilla. But again, they're hard shoving, pushing this in, and they've even called Watch to protect them. Because their back got called, they made the audible to bring in the extra ward.
And Zephyr and Gorilla have been playing this lane really well. A 2v2 Twitch lane, shoving in and being ahead on CS is quite an accomplishment early here. Watch makes it into the brush, whereas Kha'Zix decides not to gank. This is pretty dangerous.
So they did place that pink ward, though.
There is a Cocoon landing onto Elimination. He's going to be forced to flash away. It was good from Watch. His ward that he placed just moments before up by those Wraiths actually saw Kha'Zix coming, and he snuck into the rush, ready in case there was a gank down there from Meteos. In the end, it was a face check from Lemonation that got him started, and there is the recall again for Lemonation.
And I got to commend Watch for his pathing this time around. Last time we saw him versus Shield, very predictable pathing. This time around, coming down through that side of the river, sneaking into the bush, waiting just to get the flash there, and a successful and efficient use of his time.
I will say, all the lanes for Najin White Shield are winning right now, which is really good for them against Cloud9. Cloud9's a team that typically, if we think back to when they were so dominant, Meteos would just be farming the jungle and they'd rely on their lanes to be win, but every single lane on their side is getting pushed back, which really doesn't create any playmaking potential for a team that already has very lacking initiation.
See how Meteos decides to remedy that, actually picking himself up an extra ward. Obviously switching out to that sweeper lens so he can try and get some control. Currently soaking up a bit of experience in that mid lane, since we did see High recalling for the first time to come back into lane with a Cutlass. It's actually the Seeker's Arm Guard that we see Goon going for first of all, so he's going to be going up to that Zhonya's, whether he goes directly to that or just wants the Seekers for
And
that
look at
extra arm,
Meteos here. Because he's so scared of getting counter-ganked by an Elise, wards the very tip of that bush first, and it's only saves intuition that causes him to back off here. Balls gave that away with his... Oh,
Yeah.
Zed also
Intuition
left lane.
and the fact
left
Zed
lane.
was MIA, so Goong's going, hey man, there's probably some friends heading up to the top lane, and he had to back away.
Sometimes overcommitting and sending 2 people to gank is just too many, and you overcommit, you know, by giving away that there's no mid laner. It kind of ruins the jungler's gank when Meteos actually had a good position there.
Well, back to this bottom lane, it is Sneaky that holds the lead. We did see Zephyr go back though, Vamp Scepter and a longsword for Zephyr in these early stages. So Sustain with the heal from Gorilla as well, certainly going to be helping out that bottom lane. And they, I won't say necessarily massively need it right now. It's not a huge margin, especially with this wave pushing into Zephyr's direction.
Yeah, that's fairly even down bottom still, and Twitch did get to go back to now have the upper hand as far as items in lane go, but I do want to talk about a little bit more about this shield composition, because during their gauntlet run, their 5 ranged comp was my favorite of their choices that they made, just because of the way that they play team fights so well. They spread out and they kite back for just long enough until you overextend and give them an opening, and they quickly turn it around on you. They have these options with the Nami Bubble and the Elise Cocoon. If anybody gets up too close, all members on their team being ranged can immediately switch targets and focus fire anybody that gets caught out. So Cloud9, they're going to have such a hard time nailing down any one of these shield members. And as we said, it's a very delicate comp, but Watch always builds full tank on his Elise. Doesn't even go for the AP item for Elise.
And he's going to be basically a stun bot. It's going to be made even harder by the fact for Cloud9 that they don't have any real initiation. Look at that team. Not a single stun. They have a couple slows from everyone's kit, but that's about it. A few knockbacks. That's not that great for initiation from Janna. So yeah, that 5 range is going to be really hard for Cloud9 to initiate on. Basically, unless Najin White Shield gets baited into some fights around objectives, they get to control the battles.
Well, Meteos has come down to this bottom lane. Watch is actually on his wolf camp right now. There are pings towards that tri-bush though, so I don't think that Najin White Shield's going to go too far on this. They have seemingly called down Watch for now, and they've got a lot of wards in that bottom side of the river as well.
Yep, they are calling down some extra pressure to the bottom lane. Both teams do have their junglers in the area though, so it shouldn't be too dangerous. Really just fights over vision because they got the jump there. Oh, he just doesn't want to continue the fight over vision.
Wobble comes in. Actually, the Cocoon was chained on top of it as well, but a little bit too deep there for Najin White Shield to commit to.
All right, so they don't exactly decide to go for the engage here, but once again, trying to clear out all these pink wards. I'm waiting for this action to disperse on bottom lane, because I do want to talk about what Save just did on the top side of the map. We didn't get to see what Save was doing, but this is a top laner that focuses heavily.
Oh, Zephyr actually maybe caught out. He is going to get the heal from Gorilla, and the turnaround, a great bubble comes in. There's the tidal wave. Monsoon was used early. Watch tried to get in. The poison is ticking away, but the shield will make sure that he doesn't go down. Actually had just enough health anyway. Meteos is coming down to that party, but he's late to it.
Oh!
Decides to turn around.
A lot burned on both sides there in the bottom lane. That may spur on a Dragon attempt for Najin shield right there.
Plus that last charm hitting and a huge chunk out of Hive really frees up Shield to easily take this Dragon. They time aggression bottom lane and mid lane and then immediately swap over to Dragon. Good objective control there. High has made his roam up top. We'll see if he can actually catch Save.
Yeah, we'll see about the instincts of Save here because he should know that High's on the way. He burns his flash very early on. He should have known that High was there because Meteos went immediately to the mid lane after giving up the Dragon.
Well, one thing he has opened up there is for Goon to get a lot of damage onto this middle turret. He's got another wave coming in there, and I'm not sure that Meteos alone can hold this one. One more auto attack or two will be able to finish that one off. That's the first turret of the game going to Najin White Shield directly after the Dragon, which just puts that 2,000 gold lead in their favor.
Yeah, early game here going heavily in favor of Sword. Now, I want to circle back and talk about what Save had prepared on that top lane when so much action was going on bottom. This is a guy who had the highest number of wards cleared for his team, and he just went down and brought 2 wards for himself and placed them extremely deep in the blue side jungle. You can see the spots
You're
that
talking about Watch, right?
Or no, Save. I'm talking about Save. The top laner. He went into the blue side jungle. These 2 deep wards that he placed, the camera was not on. He placed them for the white, which Kha'Zix goes to very often trying to clear with isolation damage, and this little path here coming from the wolves too. So he can see anything that's going on his side of the map. That's how he controls his lane so well and why he plays with so much confidence up there.
This could be dangerous down bottom for Zephyr. We saw Sneaky actually managing to stay away from the damage, but Watch is coming down. Goong is coming down as well. Cloud9 need to evacuate this bottom lane. Zephyr gonna stealth up there, but doesn't actually get it. Gets a slow onto Sneaky, but he's full HP. That's not gonna mean the world to them. And Najin White Shield not able to get in for the kill. And of course the Dragon already gone.
Yeah, it's just all about their control. Obviously, the deep wards that Save had in the blue side of the jungle gave him a lot of presence up there. The best laning performance we've seen on Kayle in the 1v1 so far here in this group stage. And honestly, every lane, except maybe Zeph and Gorilla, despite the amount of times they're able to force Sneaky elimination back, have just been straight up winning. So mechanically, 1v1, Shield has woken up, and if they continue to play like this, Cloud9 will not be able to force any fights with their low amount of initiation.
Comes a 1v1 again. Zephyr definitely on the losing end of that.
You gotta run.
Now, but Watch is going to come down. Lemon Nation face checking towards the brush. Is going to get a decent knockback there as he uses that Monsoon, but Sneaky's the one they're going to try and push. TP coming in from balls, but that will be a little too slow to get in on the action. Tidal Wave actually thrown back that way. There's the Cocoon into the bubble. Meteos comes around. Ignite is going to go down. Will he get the kill? Goon comes around. He gets first blood. Will use the Spirit Rush to try and get away. Flashes the voice spikes as well, and White Shield hit and run. Goon super low. Zephyr even lower after that.
Zephyr flashed off of the Rumble ulti with double-digit HP. Almost died there to the burn, but the split second that he got his flash off saves him, and they get away with a sneaky kill. This is what I'm talking about with the way that Shield play these 5 range comps.
Is there a danger underneath the turret? Doesn't look like it. High had come down, but nothing opens up there for Cloud9. Still leaves them behind there, and just a single kill on the board going to Gungan. I question whether it was just the Seeker's Arm Guard for the lane phase into something else, but he's gone fully into that Zhonya's here. Gets it at 14 minutes.
It's all about being able to avoid Cloud9 focus, and specifically the death mark from High. But to just expand on Kobe's point right there, when Zephyr got away with the sliver of health, everyone on Najin Shield getting away so low, we're going to see a lot of that. A, because they're 5 range and they can keep their distance, but B, because Cloud9 has no lockdown to actually focus targets and keep them in the right place. So as soon as someone starts getting low, they're free to disengage and take and soak damage until the last second before escape.
Dave was just spotted there. He also saw that High was on that top side of the map, and the fact that they've seen each other, and also saw Gorilla moving top side. In the end, though, so extra men in the top lane back away, and Save is able to hold on to his tower. Just blasting through that minion wave. Slightly ahead on that front, also now has a Nash's 2 complete. Haunting Guy Sorcerer Shoes, of course, was the start. 4 balls on Rumble, pretty standard stuff there. We also saw that High now has been able to pick up his Brutalizer and the Cutlass. So we'll see if that helps him out in that lane against Goop.
It's just so dangerous to split push against this team. We've seen it so many times where bringing in a team with a Twitch, if you're split pushing 1 versus 1, you always have to be worried about that AD carry assassin. Right now, Zephyr is holding his own here versus the Corki. A lot of action down bottom. Every time Sneaky goes for these aggressive trades, he keeps getting baited in. And the rest of Shield, they call their team down. Once again, running through the river here, everybody's on point. They're there to back up.
Yeah. So much roam and vision control as well. Sneaky really wants to punish
Once again,
Zephyr here, but he ends up getting punished himself by overextending.
Yeah, they spotted that Meteus was around, so I don't think they wanted to fully commit to that one. Actually, Save started to move down as well, and partially probably to do with the fact that there's 30 seconds until this next dragon comes up.
Looks like Cloud9's not in position to contest here. Ball's all the way in the top lane, and High recalling with 20 seconds left on the clock. Plus, they don't have vision in the area. They're going to get themselves in trouble if they try and contest this, it really feels like.
Watch it come around the side there as well. That was dangerous for a Cocoon through the wall. In the end, though, it leaves White Shield in a position to do the dragon. They're on top of a ward, though, so Cloud9 have full vision of them trying to set up that trap. There's a scan coming in, and White Shield will realize what's happened. There is Zephyr. He's actually stealthed up there, so no full vision of him. The scan does come down. Dragon started by White Shield. Can they stop them this time around?
I mean, it's getting so low. They're not really in position. If they try and fight, it's after the fact, and they don't necessarily have the ability to lock anyone down if they collapse.
And Dragon without anything to be said by Cloud9. What are White Shield going to do? 5 men moving from that Dragon takedown straight into this middle lane. Actually, there's no real defense there. There were 3 men in the bottom lane, and this is White Shield now going to be putting a lot of damage onto the tower. Can they take it? Half HP gone already.
Looks like they're waiting in the wings here. Cloud9 might engage.
Oh, they're going to push it from the side. Balls. Where is he going to go? Equalizer onto 3 of them. Deathmark goes to the back. Watch is definitely going down. Goon may fall as well. He's super low. Gorilla comes in from the side. Tries the bubble, which she doesn't need in the end. And that will be a 2 for nothing.
They got to shove back up mid and get a turret off of this. Cloud9 needs some extra global gold to even this game right back up. They've got a minion wave. They got control of mid.
As far as the goal goes, though, Kobe, they can even it out really easily. They didn't even lose that interior turret, despite losing most of itself, and Sneaky was able to take the side turret while the fight was happening mid.
Outer turret down for Cloud9. That actually gives them the turret lead and closes up the goal to just a 200 difference. They're going to be stealing away a blue buff as well, and so that won't be going over to Goom. Nice moves overall from Cloud9.
Yeah, that was a combination of Shield being a little bit greedy. They send Zephyr up top to answer AD carry split down bottom for AD carry split up top to get that farm, and they thought they could just 4-man this mid, but it was a beautiful Rumble ulti from Balls. Watch the position. He lines it up right next to the wall, so it doesn't even have to be straight in a corridor. It's right next to the wall. Everybody's through it, and High got a great ulti off with Zed timing it. Both members tried to jump away as soon as the ulti went off, so he traveled with them to get that huge chunk.
That's the way Cloud9 has to fight if they want to be able to actually get kills, but it requires Najin's shield to be pushed up pretty far because the chase distance in order to actually close those kills is really great. If Najin's shield is turtling or if Cloud9 is doing an objective, it's going to be much more difficult for them to find those fights. But that is just a really great sign for Cloud9 that they could find those fights, especially now that Meteos has gotten his second evolve, more slow from his W, better chase from Cloud9.
Again, focus down bottom here though, and they've got the red side warded up, so Shield are going to see the reinforcements coming. It's up to Lemonation to shield the turret as much as he can.
Honestly, didn't really do too much damage there, White Shield on that one. Still holding vision control. That's something that we've seen quite often out of these Korean sides when they kind of have that fight and realize that Dragon's gone down and that area might not be priority anymore for the blue side, they'll go in and try and get those deep wards in position so that they can keep a hold of that. Also means that they can more safely push the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and it's so important for Shield to do that because they love running these champions that pick people off from Fog of War. They're all about getting this deep coverage and keeping it that way. Cloud9, though, have defensively warded fairly well on that side of the map now because they've seen how much Shield are focusing down there. Right now, though, Zephyr free farm at the bottom, 5 members of Cloud9 up top, so they need to make a play up top because they know the AD carry's not there. Right now, they're just getting vision.
It's a Trinity Force window for Cloud9. Whenever Corki hits his Trinity Force, what is that team able to do with said advantage? Because Zephyr, with that split push, being able to take down turrets will become more and more powerful. He can get a Ghost Blade, even now with the Blade of the Ruined King, he can start picking people off. It's all about the team fight right now with a level 12 Rumble who has his Leandries and a Trinity Force on Corki.
So they do answer up top side. I like that they answer in a trade rather than trying to run down to defend because Zephyr already had position down bottom. So Cloud9, they commit to this top side. They've warded up red side. Now it's them looking in the bush for a pick. Goom walks right by.
Death mark down, but I don't think there's enough damage in there. Goon lost half of his health bar. Cloud9 utilizing those deeper wards that they've got in, even finishing off that red camp as well. Cloud9 really sticking together, trying to make picks of their own inside of the enemy jungle. If you look at the gold, there's basically 100 gold that separates them.
And remember how delicate this team from Shield actually is. If Cloud9 ever blow up Zephyr, then they will have a huge, huge advantage because you can see already 2 Hex Drinkers coming out. Most of the other damage on Shield is magic damage. Well, Ari's got true damage and Kill is sort of split. So they do have other answers, but if Twitch ever goes down, that is the main point of power for the Shield team.
Absolutely. It's a good thing they have a Kayle intervention as well. I mean, we mentioned how squishy or fragile the Najin White Shield composition is. Cloud9's comp is just as fragile. They don't have a tank line either, but they don't have that invulnerability. So if the team fights get late game, Cloud9 can't actually pile through to get to Twitch because Twitch will kill him before the intervention goes off. No one's going to be able to tank up enough to actually disrupt him well. So Cloud9 really has to act fast to make this game fall in their favor.
Yeah, both teams really. It's going to be all about the positioning and those couple of seconds of damage exchange because both teams are packing a lot of damage. While they have a Kayle ultimate for Shield, Rumble ultimate can get multiple people low at the same time. So there are answers on both sides. Right now, once again, Shield are split. They're 4-1, and Cloud9 are trying to answer. So top turret goes down. They've got everybody committed to the Dragon to get vision around it. And if Shield funnel through one of these corridors, that would be the Rumble ult they're looking for.
Going for Gorilla here. He throws a tidal wave, which catches a few of them. Will it be enough to keep him alive? Actually surviving for now. Oh, they're going for Zephyr. There is the invulnerability. Balls goes low as well. This is a big, messy fight. Meteos will jump away, but Goon chases through. Not quite enough damage with the orb. On his return, he gets the kill. But Sneaky, he's still going. Where is he going to head to? He stood on a ward. Save going around the other side. I think that's the end of that fight now. Or is it? Meteos being chased down.
Good thing they got that vision first. Good thing they got that vision first. 3-for-2 trade. You can tell how close these battles are. They balance on the point of a knife's edge.
And that's the explosiveness we're going to see in all of these fights. This Dragon is not convinced yet about who is going to go to because they're so safe.
Oh, Dragon at half HP. Cloud9 starts to move away. Save is going to burst down Lemon Nation. Meteos sneaky in the back. But here comes Balls from the side. Dragon, where does he go? He goes to Najin White Shield. Save surely going to die to Balls though. But he's in trouble himself. Has to flash over the wall.
What a bad turn of events for Cloud9 and a fantastic turn of events for White Shield. Save coming in there, popping Lemon Nation, getting a double kill, and then also forcing Meteos out the back of that pit to secure the Dragon for their own team. It was anyone's Dragon once the smite was gone, but Shield comes out big after some bloody fights.
Yeah, such a risky play from Cloud9, and Shield capitalized on it perfectly coming down. All right, let's look at the beginning here. So High goes all in on the support. They draw out the exhaust as well. Good Rumble ultimate right on top of Zephyr, and the ult from Lemon makes sure that Zephyr can't even walk forward off it. There's the intervention that you talked about. It does save him for a little bit, but on that side, with Meteos, he won't last long. Sneaky from the bottom side, of course, exploding watch, and then he's got Lemon to back him up with the extra attack damage for the shield.
Yeah, but looking at the items now, I see Save with the Death Cap and Zephyr with the Ghost Blade. So that combination of Twitch Kale just spiked up huge, and I do not see the same itemization from Cloud9 as far as power spikes.
Oh.
Shield wants to fight now.
One thing that Cloud9 did just get, though, they've got these early Captain Boot upgraded Janna. So we talk about how close these fights are going to be and how important the positioning is. This Cloud9 team has a lot of extra speed that they can work with. Uh-oh, Sneaky though.
Oh, there comes Zephyr on towards Sneaky, who will just Valkyrie straight away from that one. Actually, you did the rat-a-tat-tat, but not got the damage there. Pokes him down. Meanwhile, High is split pushing this bottom lane, and White Shield needs to make a decision here.
Well, it looks like they are going to swing back over and try and cut him off. It's up to the rest of Cloud9 to keep up the pressure or tell High to back off.
Back off. That's what they're going to do.
Right.
Those were the words.
It's actually High telling them, hey, do I need to back off now? And they say,
Well, obviously, they lost ward control and they weren't able to just go back into a Twitch. Obviously, they were able to withstand that one Twitch ultimate. The speed that the Janna granted them there is actually really critical in running away from spray and pray. I wonder if we're going to see many disengage style fights like that, where they just wait for the Twitch to use spray and pray and then try and just bail as soon as possible.
Also, keep your eyes on the poke that Cloud9 deal while they're retreating. They're dealing out damage in between attack moves here. So as Sneaky's walking away, he's throwing the missiles back, so is Meteos from the side, and they chunked Zephyr just as hard as he chunked Sneaky in that exchange.
Red buff nicely picked up for Cloud9. Have a look at the gold tier. Just 3,000 separates them. I think just 3,000. It's a decent chunk at this point. 26 minutes in. Cloud9 actually looking at Baron here. There's no vision, funnily enough, on that area of the map for Najin White Shield, which means Cloud9 basically have free reign up towards that tri-bush. However, they've spotted High now going to that top lane. White Shield are moving in from the bottom side. Pink Ward in the death push will spot them.
They've got position on this mid lane here. Cloud9 look like they're going to commit to the split push, so they're going to leave High up there, but they can't get behind this turret in time. Well, it was way too low anyway, so that one goes down. It's going to be that inhibitor turret defense. They need to use a Rumble ult probably to get him off this.
This is really poor positioning for Cloud9. Najin White Shield gets almost the whole turret.
Well, then, oh no, almost about it. They're going to take it here. Zephyr will finish that one off, and that is the exchange that Cloud9 have taken, but will they keep going? High is pushing up there, and he's going to be chunking through that one. We see the recall coming in. Goon specifically will be the first one to get back, but High's already got this turret down to less than half, and you know what? I think he might have this one. Home Guard is going to come in. There is the full push. In comes the death mark up from High. He wants the tower. He gets the tower. Zonya's to get away from the damage. High will get off with his shadows.
For now, unfortunately, the whole team's there.
That's why Goon lets him walk away. He knows he's got teammates coming in to cut off High. Mission accomplished for High, though. He at least got that turret down. So in the end, it was an exchange of inhibitor turrets, but the extra kill going over to Shield, as well as control the map so they can set up more vision for those picks. The mid-game picks are going to be crucial here.
Such an interesting game. White Shield, of course, already through to the quarterfinals. Win here means that they get that top seed. And I think from their point of view, avoid Samsung Blue in the next round is a big part of this one. Of course, if Cloud9 win, they'll have to play this game all over again later on today to decide the 1 and 2 seed. Alliance, I'm sure, waiting backstage somewhere, watching this game with bated breath and really cheering Najin White Shield on.
Yeah, either way, Cloud9 are going to play another game today. We're going to determine, will it be for first in the group or will it be for second?
Definitely changes the mindset they would have going into that game, but all eyes are on this one for them. They're still in this. However, this team composition from White Shield is really, really dangerous. And honestly, Cloud9 doesn't seem like they have the tools to deal with this Twitch Kale.
Mid-game pick, here it is. Zeph on the front line.
Oh, there is a tidal wave going through Lemon Nation. Preemptive flash there, and I think that's got him away from danger as he puts down the DFG. Got one more charge. The charm goes wide, but they've got Sneaky. He will just walk out as well, and that means that they can actually turn around a little bit more damage there, Cloud9. Close, though, on a couple of fronts. The early flash from Lemon Nation saved him.
Wow, yeah, exactly. Lemon Nation. I mean, while this Janna is providing speed to the whole team, the speed boosts on individual targets for Shield are immense. So they put the Nami and the Kale onto Zeppa. He can position very, very easily, and they get enough of a health advantage out of that engage to take the objectives. Even though they didn't land the kill, because of the repeated waves of target swaps from Shield, they chunked down so many members of Cloud9.
Well,
they have control of the map.
It's just the fact that Cloud9 can't retaliate when Shield does that, so they get enough damage done on them. And now, how do you actually run away from this?
Well, that's the problem that they're having, isn't it? As the charm comes in as well, he lands on balls. Meteor's still running. Can they actually finish off? No, he will Valkyrie out of there, and Meteor
High split pushing again.
Stars. High is split pushing. He's going for the inhib. Is there a recall? Yes, but it's Nami. That's a squishy fish. You can't kill off a Zed with that thing.
Well, he could delay a Zed, though, so it would be tricky for High to stay around. He does decide to play it safe because they lost all vision. Once again, the vision from Shield, they're so diligent about their mid-game vision, especially with these pick comps, that it just removes so many options from Cloud9.
And what it's showing us as well, team fight after team fight, is that Cloud9 just has to duck and run as soon as they see the Twitch. If they decide to turn, it's the Kale ult. So they really have to take a punch from Najin White Shield and then try and land a counter, which so far, they take so much heat from the first punch, they're not ready for the counter, and Shield uses it to get dragons, they use it to get turrets. High split push is kind of the only chance they have, but even at that point, Save is getting to a point where he might just be able to kill High.
Yeah, that first punch is a doozy of an uppercut.
I speak for all of Europe when I say I don't really know what that means, but...
That's the only move I knew in Mortal Kombat. It's the easiest one to pull off. Just keep spamming it.
Like a punch right under the chin.
It definitely hurts, Save. I mean,
Haymaker, is that better for you?
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Now I'm on the same page.
Different punches, but all powerful.
Yeah, they all hurt. Needlessly large rod on top of that death cap for the Nashes too. Cloud9 here actually grouping up inside of the mid lane. He's going to try and push that one back and looking for some damage over the side onto Watchu. Continued that build that he goes with the release into, you know, the tanky type of build. Also got the haunted guys in there though as well, just to make sure that he is doing a little bit more extra damage.
So we've seen Shield start almost every fight. If Cloud9 could somehow get High in a flank, ulting onto Kale to force Kale and ult on herself, then they could jump onto Zepha's Twitch. I feel like that's the only situation in a team fight where Cloud9 can come out ahead. They are dead set on the split push strategy, however.
All right, still going. White Shield around the halfway point of the map. Will they pull a recall? Will Zephyr go stealth and go into the front? Gets hit with the bomb. A little bit unlucky for him there.
Sneaky's got those heat-seeking missiles, actually, courtesy of their sponsor, Air Force Reserve. All right, so they do head up. Once again, though, mid-wards here from Shield. They can keep track of the four-man group. So it's really hard here for High to work with this split push because constantly Shield are coming through their red side jungle and clearing it all out.
I mean, we're really seeing why Twitch is such a high-value pick the entire regular season in Korea. It shuts down split push well, and it also creates an amazing...
Oh, High's going for it. He's got the minion wave there.
It's just a Nami.
That would really open him up to getting cut off. Can the rest of the team get vision?
Yeah.
That's what he's working with.
High is just trying to read where the rest of Shield is, and every time Shield pushes back, they can't safely get vision, and they can't actually keep close to Shield either.
They gotta have double threats here, so they're threatening for the Baron at the same time that High is threatening that inhibitor. Teleport here, High's gonna get this inhibitor, but he might die for it.
Watch is there on the Baron as well, trying to stop them from doing that. And they've actually pulled them away from Baron, but they do get the inhibitor. There is a death mark going on to Gorilla. I can't see him escaping this one. He doesn't. The splat comes down. Where's High going to go now? He's kind of trapped inside of the base. DFG will be put his way. Goon is surely going to finish him off, but look at the damage back. High does a lot, but not enough.
Inhibitor, but that's their main mid laner. That's their only mid laner down, and he's the highest level on the team. That gives 50 seconds here for Shield with a little bit of a power play. Those super minions up top, though, are going to be crucial for Cloud9. They need multiple points of threat for their team to work out. That's why they threatened the inhibitor. At the same time, they timed it with the Baron threat, pulling Shield in 2 different directions.
And I think it's very unlikely that Shield tries to force a Baron during the downtime of High, only because we think about their 5 range composition and how, yes, they want to get fights with Zephyr, but the one thing they don't want is to be backed up into a corner where they can never disengage or choose their fight. Baron would do that. They would be a victim to the Rumble Ult and the Quirky Missiles, and it's just not a smart idea for them to use.
Those just nerves of steel from High, the main shot caller on this team, the one voice you hear if you get a listen in on their communications in game. He made that commitment to the top lane inhibitor, got it plus the kill to exchange to delay Shield's rebuttal here. Now they do have, they've got full vision control around that Baron.
Lots of wards being scanned away here by Najin White Shield. Zephyr is stealthed up. Not going to have an opportunity to get onto anyone though. And Cloud9 have done a decent job of that in recent minutes, keeping themselves grouped up.
I think that Cloud9 should invest in sneaky switching over to a scrying orb, because this Shield team is all about picks. They're not necessarily going to start the Baron. As you said, it's always going to be a dangerous prospect for them to start that Baron, so they'll be hesitant. But if they just get vision control over Baron, then they open up for picks.
He's got a good spot here.
Going on towards balls. There's a tidal wave. He's not by the monsoon. Actually gets the ultimate out of Kale. Meanwhile, they're going on towards Zephyr. Can he finish him? No! Zephyr lives and manages to get the kill on his way out. Lemon Nation at half HP. Is maybe going to try and lock down Watch here with Sneaky. Can they actually get in onto him though? Sneaky still going down. Is the jump off to the race, and Watch will be able to walk away. 3 for 2 there in favor of Najin White Shield, but look at them health bars.
What a close fight that was, and we see Shield getting away with low health. That's going to happen. These fights are ridiculous.
So that should give Cloud9 the Dragon, because they've got that inhibitor still down during this whole fight. But man, I want to go over High's use of his shadows in that last fight. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
They got the intervention on the Zephyr. Okay, so let's watch. Yeah, zoom in on High, because this is insane. They get the intervention onto Twitch here after he gets picked. High uses his first shadow, ultimate over to Gorilla. He can ult back to that shadow as soon as intervention is down, and he tries to pop Zephyr with Meteos here. It was so beautiful, but they couldn't get him. The flash away plus heal, and Zephyr survived with a sliver. That was the turning point.
Even with everything High did in the shadows, the amazing thing is, White Shield won that fight. That's how hard it is for Cloud9 to team fight against this Twitch kill combo. The amount of outplay required to have a chance at killing Zephyr is extreme.
Talked about the precision needed for this team comp, for both of these teams to come. This is one of the most exciting games that we've had. One of the most well-played team fights. Meteos gets caught.
He's invisible though, and he gets away from it. Charm going in. DFG was used as well just after that. We also see now that Zhonya's 4 save complete, so harder and harder each time for High to pick a target that he can get through, especially if you combine that with the intervention. What is the plan then now for Cloud9? They could start with getting some vision back over by Baron.
They have to. That is the name of the game right now. And you can see they're focusing on it heavily around this Baron. When they shove up mid and they get a little window of opportunity, try and clear that out, because that is what Shield are working with. Once again, they're looking for those picks. Every pink ward counts here for Cloud9. If they ever see Zephyr going aggressive and he walks by a pink ward in a bush and it's not known to him, that could be the turning point for Cloud9. That's why you leave extra pink wards in your flanks on the off chance if they ever catch that guy out of position.
And at this point, look at how good Goong has been doing as far as farm as well. Like, it's been Zephyr who's been the main threat that everyone on Cloud9 is paying attention to. Goong may end up being the one winning the game for them. If he can land a charm onto higher Sneaky, he will blow them up before they can react.
And you got to give credit to Lemon Nation for keeping Sneaky safe this whole time. Who's the guy alive at every single end of these team fights? Sneaky's always up, due to Lemon Nation.
Such an intense game here. Save has just showed himself down the bottom side, but does have teleport, so can get himself involved if need be. While Cloud9 continue to try and get some vision back, this time on Najin White Shield side. Shield themselves actually repositioning a couple of men to push back on this middle wave. So for now, it's a tug of war on those minions until someone finds the right positioning. It'll have to be the perfect position. Zephyr actually going in, went towards Sneaky. In the end, was blasted back by Lemon Nation, though.
They disengaged, but the Rat-a-tat-tat was not used by Zephyr, so they still had everything available here for Shield. Cloud9 have to be very careful. High waiting in this bush, as he should be. Very, very wary of the collapse from Shield.
Ward after ward put down in the back of the pit. There is Goon clearing out the wave that High had shoved forward as I actually decides to go home. Spend up before coming back in. Lemon Nation continues that war with Gorilla inside of the Baron pit. All about getting each other's vision in and out of that one. He needs to be careful how far forward he goes there, though. Save jumps on him. Has a lot of burst potential from that Kale.
They're making a strong move on mid here. They've got position with the minions. Charm barely missing, just an inch, and Shield take over, reclaim this small area of the river.
Yeah, and Cloud9's been spending 15 minutes finding creative ways to avoid Shield. It's a wonder they've lasted this long, it feels like, because the potential of this team is just so great. High is not in a split push position here. They still can't get control of the Baron pit, and Shield is just biding their time. 41 minutes in. It's crazy how quickly this game has gotten late.
Yeah, and the only reason that Cloud9 were able to even do that is because High got that inhibitor down, because they had that pressure top. So that kept Shield from committing, and it drew their team apart.
Yeah, Alliance,
look at them watching.
Just hoping that Najin White Shield can pull off this game. Remember, if that happens, it would create a tie for second between Cloud9 and Alliance and force a tiebreaker game there. However, if Cloud9 wins, they tie for first in the group and will play another game against White Shield. So a battle for first or second going on at the same time.
I have to say, Shield have done such a good job of slowly regaining control. He gets revealed, the missiles hit, so they've slowly regained control. They fought until their inhibitor respawned, and then they warded up that top side with a crazy amount of wards to make sure that if High ever goes for that split push again, it'll be really dangerous, and he won't get in for that inhibitor. Now they've regained vision control around Baron, once again looking for the pick. Cloud9 shoving mid, though they know that Shield are not going to start off that Baron.
This is where games
they're going to get clapped on. This is it. This is it.
Turret is going to go low. Zephyr trying to get around the side. He gets us low to balls, but they decide to just back off into the side there on the jungle. Actually, the bottom tower went down.
It's a massive minion wave down there. There's 2 cannon minions just...
And they're running up mid here. Cloud9 are out of position.
Oh, actually, they got Meteos behind them. High is also behind them here as well. What is the plan? They need to deal with that big minion wave that's already taken a turret on the bottom of the map. The charm from Goon goes wide, and it stays tense here in the middle.
Both side lanes are pushing with massive minion waves. Shield are gaining small advantages as time goes on here, and they keep Cloud9 in the middle of the map.
This is what Shield does. They won so many late games just letting the minion waves go back and baiting the other team into jumping to them because they have no other choice. Either Cloud9 goes back for the minion waves and gives rid of Baron, or they fight now. Zephyr goes in.
Oh, he's going for Sneaky as well. The Valkyrie instantly. Lemon Nation uses the monsoon. Instant equalizer as well. Zephyr stood on top of it. Gets the intervention. Goon at the back. He's going to get one. Sneaky will go for him. Meanwhile, over by the Baron, Meteos gets Zephyr, gets the reset. High is all over the place and will pick up the kill onto save. Ball still alive. Finish finished off by Watch, but Watch is going down as well. So double for high. It will be another one. It's Kha'Zix in the end that gets it. That's a 4 for 2. This is a chance for Cloud9 to push.
Sneaky let Goom live after that Zhonya's. He wanted to join the rest of his team, so Goom got away with his flash. Now Cloud9 make the decision to go back towards Baron after pinging the turret. This is dangerous.
Do not have much time.
Goom can make this count. If he hits the charm on Sneaky and 100%s him.
Meteos low on mana. Goom does not have an ultimate yet. 30 seconds until save if this one gets delayed. I wonder if Sneaky tries to jump over one charm.
They got it low. It's going down quickly though.
No flash to get over the wall, though. That's the danger here. The charm misses. Goong is going to get his W1, but it won't go that far. And there is the Baron going over to Cloud9. They're still 4,000 gold behind, but they've got the Baron, and they got to make it count.
The biggest thing about that fight and how great it was for Cloud9, they had 2 GAs going into that. They did not consume either Guardian Angel. The fact that Zephyr opened up and had to use the Kayle ult, the key is without Cloud9 committing. If they commit, Cloud9 loses, but the Rumble ult just
intervention blocks nothing. That intervention was completely
that Cloud9 just goes in.
We said it was all going to be all about blocking damage with it. Meteos jumps in, gets the reset, and they again corner save. Meteos and High in these team fights have been spectacular for Cloud9. Man, you can say what you want about group stages. They have delivered every single day. We are getting these crazy, crazy games. Shield gonna get Dragon Wild. Cloud9 rush up for the inhibitor. They don't have vision of it though, so they aren't committing.
They did not
They don't have vision. They aren't committing to the inhibitor. They could rush it right now.
They could rush it, but they got to be really quick because the recalls have already come down from White Shield. They've got a lot of damage. They've got all 5 men there. Inhib's down. They're backing off.
Still a topsy-turvy game. White Shield has held this gold lead pretty much the entire time, but that however many times they try and open up with Twitch, Cloud9 has been able to disengage. Probably the highest pressure set of disengages I have seen in so long. Every game is absolutely delivering here. Cloud9, if they win this, once again, forces a tie for first place in the group with White Shield and also clinches their spot in the quarterfinals. If they lose this, they still don't clinch a thing.
Now they're up at the turret again. Every single player in this game is crucial to their team. Talking about the supports, the disengages, meaning the difference between life and death. One more attack on that. Oh, it does go down. The minions, the heroes. Now it's Cloud9 with the top lane pushing, swinging everybody down bottom. They have the super minion line that's going to go up there. They have the Baron buff. So much control for Cloud9, yet these team fights can be won so quickly still.
Well, Zeph is off clearing a super minion wave, so they're conceding everything that's not their inhibitor turret.
So
I
much
wonder how quickly he can make it over here, though.
Yeah, he's got to come over quickly because Cloud9 aren't
very
messing
slow
around.
rotation.
They're
Very
going
slow
straight onto it. Are they going to get it? They will take the turret. Will they fight? They're trying to stay around. Goom goes in. Balls are going to use his Azonya's really quickly. High at the back. Gets the Guardian Angel down. And that could be problems for them. He's going to come back up. Can they finish off Goom? Oh! No! Shut down. Goom goes low. His GA's pod. Meteos has his Guardian Angel pod. Sneaky there. He's full HP. He could be a hero for Cloud9 right now. Oh! Valkyrie's done. Oh, he gets stunned up and finished off. It's Zephyr that gets that one for the super minions. They're in the base and they've taken a Nexus turret.
You can see how hesitant Sneaky was to fully commit to that fight, and then when he finally does, cooldown is back up for both Cocoon and Charm. Shield hit them, they stack them perfectly and take him out. What a huge, huge fight though. The base is in rubble.
Dodged a bullet here because super minions were killing the Nexus during the duration of this fight. Such a crazy, messy fight. This was the most Cloud9 has committed yet, and you can see why it's so dangerous. Zephyr, as he opens, gets the Kayle ult, so no choice of retaliation. High could not assassinate either, and remember, Goom is the sneak attack threat in this one. He dodges pretty much everything. The nerves get to Sneaky a little bit. They do not time the damage properly with the revival of the Guardian Angel. Sneaky misses a monster missile there. Meteos goes back out, and then Sneaky, when he commits,
goes back up.
Perfect stun. Watch wants to be known. Stuns like that get you known and get you first place in the group.
And you talk about that commitment. That right there, jumping in, Shield already were trying to pull back to defend their Nexus. So if you played a little bit more conservatively at that point, they may have been able to stick around and get more damage down on the inhibitor, but man, so close this team fight. Once again though, a big chunk taken out of the Shield base. You saw Alliance in the picture-in-picture cheering after they got that kill on Sneaky, but once again, that was a big chunk for Cloud9. They have no GAs though this time around.
No. And
keep track of those cooldowns.
That's soon to be a 6-item Kayle. When Save gets that Lich Bane, good luck, because that's 3 monster damage dealers that would be arrived for a Najin White Shield. Cloud9, they're pretty much at max items as far as Corki and High are concerned.
Yeah, we're getting to that point where everybody's maxing out here.
We are almost 50 minutes into this game. That tug of war that's gone on for, I think, what is 30 minutes by now, leaves Cloud9 still behind in gold kills, ahead in turrets, and already taken a good portion out of Najin White Shield's base. The Nexus turret, of course, being a key component of that. They're pushing up to the inhib now.
They got to keep making use of the super minions that are going on top. They need to make use of that pressure.
Cloud9 did this last time with Baron. This time they do not have Baron. A good amount of poke onto Gorilla there. They really want this inhibitor, but boy, is this a dangerous move.
It's dangerous for them to funnel in here. Because this wall is going to push them up for Zephyr to get that line damage, they have to be very careful spreading out. And once again, there's no Mikhails on Cloud9. If Sneaky gets hit with one of those skill shots, it's going to be a hard time.
QSS on Sneaky because they couldn't get the Mikhails. Everyone trying to ward up against the AoE magic damage. They do not have the super minion threat on the other side here. Shield is actually primed for a counterattack. That's the reason Cloud9 backs off.
The inhibitor respawns, so they don't have any extra super minion pressure up top now. Time to regain vision around Baron. Baron coming up in 1 minute. Cloud9 do have more vision on the map right now. They need to replenish these wards. Right now they're going Dragon.
Time is off a little bit.
Those things are coming up at the same time. If you choose between those two.
Cloud9 actually wouldn't have the Dragon timer because they took the top inhibitor.
They didn't have vision of it.
Taking the Dragon. So they're basically just going to be working around the Baron timer. They all have to recall, and this is another problem we run into in these super long games. Ward control falls because everyone else has to max out their inventories and they can't buy those extra luxury wards.
That's why we see it upgraded to Ruby Sightstone here for Meteos on the Kha'Zix. He just upgraded to Ruby Sightstone so they don't have to return to base like they just did without laying down more wards on the map.
And GAs are coming up here soon as well. Not quite in 10 seconds time though, so this Baron might be a little bit delayed from both sides until they get those Guardian Angels in position.
Oh, goes
off to the side falls. He's going to be the focus, but he flashes. The Cocoon misses. Oh, they've got the Charmer High though. He will put down his death mark. Goon uses his Gorilla lower the back. Sneaky coming around after using his QSS. He's going to be Cloud9 to win this one. They take out Watch. They go into Zephyr. It's the ace for Cloud9. They could go through and win.
51 minutes in, Cloud9 finds the amazing fight. 5-0 ace. Nothing will stop them from winning this game.
It's all about the disengage. We mentioned so many times how Cloud9 don't have the lockdown, but they're the ones kiting back, and they kite back perfectly. Even though Goon gets that
time they needed to disengage, they did. Zephyr could never find the fight he needed, and Cloud9 takes down Shield.
Nexus turret's going down, and Cloud9 picking up a massive victory over Najin White Shield. They're going to play them again later today to see if they can beat them again and go through as first in the group. It, of course, also means Alliance are out of the World Championships.
I don't think I can make it to that next game.
This was...
Yeah, that was...
You're on your own, Kobe.
Too absurd. Also... I think that's the first North American team to beat a Korean team at a World Championship in the history of League of Legends. So a monumental occasion for Cloud9 right now.
The first time in years that a North American team has beaten a Korean team in any competitive match, period. And man, that last team fight, every ultimate so on point. They had balls with the flash. If he didn't have flash up, that was a completely different story. After he flashed away and Lemon popped his ultimate, the Rumble ulti on back, straight across Zephyr. So many things in this game. That whole game was just a cacophony of well-played team fights.
By both teams, like that's the thing. Najin White Shield, try as they may, they were doing all they could to find the right fights. They had the range composition. They were trying to play that engage-disengage game. They had a farm Twitch that entire time. And the ultimates in general were on point from save. It was just a 52-minute slugfest. And here's the thing. They have to play again. They have to play for first place in the group.
And that's a massive game as well because, let's be honest, you don't want to finish second and play Samsung Blue in the quarterfinals. That is what these two teams are going to be trying to avoid. It also means, and I'm sure you guys would rather be the ones saying this than me, that 2 out of 3 North American teams here at Worlds will be going through to the quarterfinals. Of course, our last game of the day decides if it's 3 out of 3.
Yeah, well, everybody's already looking to the sequel to this matchup. Up next, we have the OMG LMQ. And this is another decisive battle. Oh, all right. Deep breath. Need some more water.
Yeah,
no more Red Bull, only water
deep
now.
Breaths for Cloud9 and Najin White Shield will need to be had because the difference between first seed and second seed is whether they have to play Samsung Blue or the winner of the OMG LNQ game. And even though every team has showed up and everyone can beat everyone, as we saw with Kaboom beating Alliance earlier, it does matter a lot.
Yeah.
First seed.
And you know that loss to Kaboom from Alliance is basically what's put them out.
And it's also what's preventing a 3-way tie for first at the end of the day, which would have been absolutely ridiculous.
It would have been nice to have all those extra games at the end, but credit to Kaboom.
Quality,
I was saying it the entire time, Kobe. Kaboom are going to pull off an upset at some point.
I can vouch every single day.
It's Joe and Crumb.
We got that one down. And Kaboom do it on the last day, in the last game against the team that had to beat them to actually go through or to stay in with a chance. That was an absolutely crazy game. So we're going to give it straight over to the guys at the analyst desk to take on Cloud9.